welcome to SA Decides, brought to you by ANN7. My name is Audrey Chimwanda. I'll be moderating this town hall debate. We're coming to you from the Eastern Cape now, and we are in Mutata town, a place that is rich with the heritage of this country, a place where I'm sure all of you know that Utata, the late Nelson Mandela, comes from, and just a few kilometers away from here in Qono is where he was laid to rest. The question is, with all the richness that comes with this municipality, which is O.R Tambo municipality, are the people of this community rich as well in terms of their living? Well, we will get you the answers today. Let me introduce to you my guests as usual. To my right is the Executive Mayor of O.R Tambo District Municipality, Mayor Nomakosazana Meth. To her right, from the Democratic Alliance is Councillor Raymond Nock. Also to his right is from the UDM, Councillor Mabandla Gogo. Last but not least, we have from MRRA, which stands for Mutata Ratepayers and Residents Association, is Councillor Lungelo Mpongwana. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And very important, as usual, we have residents from this community from different political parties who will get a chance to speak to their leaders and pose any questions or concerns that they may have as we lead up to the 3rd of August of the municipal elections that we will be holding very soon. Let's start the debate. I'll start with you, Executive Mayor, very quickly. As the ANC, you are the governing party of this municipality. What do you have to offer to the people? What do you think they need as we go to these elections?
Thank you very much, Audrey. As you are correctly saying, I'm representing the ANC, serving in the PC of the ANC. We've got a good story to tell as the ANC, because we've got an experience of ruling the country for 22 years now. And we've been in local government sphere for the past 3 terms, since 2015. And we want to give account of what we've managed to do in the past 5 years. We've increased the voice of the communities in structures of local government. We talk of ward committees. We talk of many platforms, IGR structures, where the people are able to present their own views as they are governing. They are the government themselves. We've improved municipal responses to petitions and complaints from communities, such that as the province of the Eastern Cape, starting from the national program, we are having a program that is called the war rooms, that we are taking the government directly to the people, service delivery war rooms, which we are saying in the Eastern Cape is Masipatisane service delivery war rooms.
Thank you for that intro, Executive Mayor. We have to go to the Democratic Alliance, a hotly contested district municipality. How are you intending on increasing your numbers and make sure that you have a voice when it comes to changing the lives of this municipality? Councillor Nock.
Thank you so much. The Democratic Alliance is a party for all South Africans, as we know. It is a party that is here to build a nation that will take us all forward in the future. As we can see, we are a party which strives to rid the country of corruption. We are a party which seeks to make and better the lives of everyone, and we are the only alternative that is there that can and will govern this country with clean governance.
Thank you, sir. We go to the UDM now. Councillor Mabandla Gogo, talk to us about what the UDM stands for in this municipality.
Well, as I speak, currently we've got 36 councillors in the KSD Council. The UDM out of 36 has got 18 councillors. We are the official opposition in this municipality. If you can visit the Hansard today in the KSD, the record of what the UDM stands for in that council speaks for itself. Our opposition is not in the secret. Our opposition is in the public. These people who are here can bear testimony to that. The kind, the level, the extent of opposition, of rooting out corruption in this municipality. And we are saying the 3rd of August is an opportunity to remove people who do not rule in the KSD, but who ruin the people of the KSD, who root out their resources for their own personal benefit. So that's what we exactly stand for as the United Democratic
Councillor Gogo, there's opening remarks. Thank you so much. We go to the Mutata Ratepayers and Residents Association. Opening remarks from you, sir.
Our stance is to say we will have to be to make sure that we've got a good, clean, good governance. We want to make sure the services are are taken straight to the people. As now, as we stand, we are clear and we know that services are not going to the people. I think when you were taking rounds here in Mthatha, you can see the situation here in town. It is not the situation that people want to see and want to live in. We want to change that situation as from now, as from the 3rd of August.
Thank you very much. Opening remarks are done. We've broken the ice. Let's go straight to the bread and butter issues. I'll start with you, Executive Mayor Myth. You speak of the ANC as the governing party that has experience when it comes to governing people and, giving them what they deserve in terms of service delivery. We look at this municipality and it is rated as the 2nd worst place to live in South Africa. How does your experience translate into making sure that the lives of the people in this municipality is improved?
We have been declared by the 3 presidents of this country, starting from the very first president, Utatu Madiba, as the poor of the poorest district because of the history that we come from. Remember, many governments have tried to rule this particular area, but unfortunately for the people of O.R Tambo, we have not seen much success in terms of service delivery. But I can tell you now as we speak, we've turned around. When you go to all the platforms nationally, when the presentation is done in terms of service delivery backlogs, it's been read all along. Talking of infrastructure, talking of electricity, water, sanitation, roads, everything has not been done in this particular district by the previous government. It is only the government of the ANC that have started to provide to the 97% poor rural communities of this area services of a greater standard. We've delivered electricity to the people of this place. About 66% of the households, which are close to 400,000, as we speak in O.R Tambo, have access to good running water. About 395,000 families or households of this area can testify to you to say they've got clean running water now. We've got a program that we are doing. The president has injected more than 5 billion for the intervention of turning, in particular, the KSD around. Because if you talk of road networks, the lifespan of the roads of this area, the King Sabata Mthatha in particular, they've reached their lifespan. They are beyond the pothole patching. Hence, we are now starting afresh, revitalizing, rebuilding the road networks.
And we'll come back to all those points. I just want to go to the Democratic Alliance. Councillor Nock, can we still blame the remnants of apartheid with regards to not being able to service our people?
We cannot. 22 years down the line and we still want to blame apartheid. In 22 years we should have turned the country around. Many of the problems that the executive mayor is speaking is problems that should have been solved. If there was less corruption and if more was spent on where it should go, many of these problems should have been alleviated by now. We're still talking about poverty 22 years down the line. Poverty shouldn't be existing now. We should be going to the ends of this country and making sure that every person is put on a better footing. But it's not so, because many of us are still pocketing what should be going to our poor people.
Councillor Gogo, is there issues of corruption in the structures of these municipalities that affect service delivery?
A lot. With me, I've got a paper that is running in the province of the Eastern Cape, the Daily Dispatch. There's a company that was appointed by the municipality called Stadon. This company was appointed to build houses around Mthatha. The houses they built, they did the short work, and as we speak now, they're still milking millions of rands. I'm talking about corruption that is taking. Here is the mayor of KSD sitting there. There's corruption taking place here. I'll mention another company that is called Makubu that was appointed to assist with fleet management in the King Sabata municipality. The contract expired in May last year on the 25th. We are still paying money to date, millions of rands, to a company that no longer renders a service in this council. What do you call that? What label do you attach to that? It's corruption. Who is benefiting out of this thing? A company that is dealing with parking meter systems. in the case municipality, a tender was advertised. And what we expect when the tender has been advertised, all the companies that actually displayed interest in that tender should be appointed. But a company that was appointed to deal with that, a set man from the national office of the ANC, Luthuli House, phoned to say, take that company that is knocking at the door, and it must be appointed to deal with that job. So that is the kind of, it's not only those three I've mentioned, a lot more is going wrong. And as long as we still have the ANC telling the stories of the past without reference to the future, we are going nowhere.
Thank you for those remarks. And just for the benefit of our viewers, we actually have the mayor of KSD, which stands for King Sabata Dalindyebo, who is with us in the audience. I'm sure when she gets a microphone, she'll be able to respond to the allegations that have come from the UDM. Tata Ratepayers and Residents Association, what issues are you having with regards to making sure that ratepayers' money is used properly?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. It is clear, and everybody is aware of that. That is why, as ratepayers, we decided to contest elections, because we could see that the monies that we are paying are being taken down the drain, or they are being misused. In terms of the municipality, we are paying the service. We are renting the services, and we are paying them, but they are not coming back. You pay and you don't get services. That is why now we are saying we need to change the municipality. The standard of the roads is very poor. There are no roads here in Mthatha. I can hear my colleague here is saying they are building roads. There are no roads here in Mthatha. You can attest to that. The water, we've got a serious problem of water here in Mthatha. Sometimes we don't have water for the whole week, 3 days. It depends. You don't have water. Electricity is another serious problem that we have to deal with. Last week, where I'm staying, for the whole weekend, we didn't have electricity, and that's the biggest problem that we are facing here in Mthatha while we are paying rates, and that is very serious. And I can tell you, even today, where I'm staying, the rubbish has not been picked up to now since last week. And I've been phoning the municipality. They can't even pick up the calls. The rubbish is still there.
Let's pose this question to Mayor Smith. How are you taking care of the indigent, the people who are not... I know you have a good program that's taking care of people who are poor, who are not able to pay for their services, but you also have ratepayers who are saying, we're not getting the services that we're paying for. How do you balance the two? Is your taking care of the poor at the expense of the ratepayers?
Thank you very much. The ANC government has got a policy of looking after the indigent people. And as such, we've got an indigent register where we register all those who are earning less than ×2 a pension grant, which is the policy of the ANC. And we are doing that. As the O.R Tambo municipality, we are spending more than 300 million that we are budgeting every year to pay for the people to get water services, to get sanitation services who cannot afford. And all other municipalities that are providing electricity, there is an amount that is paid, put aside to make sure that those who cannot afford, they are subsidized with services. And we are not doing that at the expense of those who can afford, because in that process, even now we just finished a program where we were saying, because there is a lot of debts that we cannot collect, people sometimes they don't pay, others they don't pay because there is a lot of issues that accumulated their accounts not to be able to pay. We took a decision as a council to say, we'll give amnesty to the people who are paying for services, because we understand the nature of this municipality, as I've outlined to you, that it is a rural municipality. 97% of the 1.4 million people of this area come from those backgrounds where there is no work. But we are not just doing that, giving people amnesty. As this government, we've got a clear program of ensuring that there are jobs. And we are always happy to announce that since 2011, where we had only 45 municipalities that were getting the expanded public works program. Now we've got more than 196 municipalities that are involved in that program, that we are giving our people job opportunities, those who have no qualifications to be employed. But if we talk of the people that cannot afford, we are so biased as this particular government to ensure that people don't get services because they cannot afford, hence the indigent. Right. And we are doing that, we are delivering to the people, and they can testify to that they've got taps in their villages, they've got electricity, that they get subsidy every month when you buy electricity. And it is the first time it is happening with this government that is led by the African National Congress.
Right. Councillor Nock, is the revenue collection strategy working effectively? Is it in place? Is everything working properly to make sure that revenue is collected and services are delivered?
No. The revenue collection strategies are actually not doing that well. There are many policies in place, but the problem that we have with the ruling party is that the policies are never implemented. I can give you examples of many people who owe the municipality, up to councillors who have not paid rates for months and months and possibly years, but for example their lights are never cut off. Like other people's lights would just be switched off when you don't pay. And there is an unfairness to that, a big unfairness, because it advantages certain people and that is totally corrupt. It goes back to corruption. So we believe that there are policies, the strategies are not being followed, and that makes it a very poor revenue, there's poor revenue enhancement, so to say, in this municipality.
And if you had a chance to rectify this problem, how would you do it differently as the Democratic Alliance?
As a Democratic Alliance, we would definitely revise the policies and make sure that the policies are in line with the day-to-day running of municipalities now. And we would then implement, because the most important is no use having a policy on a shelf, is to implement those policies and make them work with the understanding and of course with the people.
What happens to councillors that are found wanting when you know, they are found maybe to be fraudulent with finances? Is there a culture of impunity? Are people held accountable for what they do wrong here?
Oh, certainly no. But that you can blame failure to have legislation even at national level. Because when we engage officials as politicians at the level of council conducting oversight, I'm a former member of parliament. I know it has happened in the legislature as well. Officials tell you lies. They lie. And they just get away with that. They tell you what you think will be happy to be told about. They don't give you the information they come with when they come to committees. It's halubalu. It's disorganized. So you can't then, on the basis of that kind of information, then have a conducive and efficient oversight. So it's not only, that does not only apply to municipalities, but no one has ever been chased away nor punished for submitting information that is fraudulent in front of politicians to conduct oversight. But in other African countries, when oversight is being conducted, police stand next to the door. Once you are found to have been wanting to lying, then you are immediately charged because you have given information that is wrong. You have misled the state by giving information that is actually not correct, and then you face the music. So it's not that does not only apply in the municipal, but we have complained about that in the past to say the kind of information that we get, even how it is actually prepared before it goes to committees for oversight, it actually lacks a lot of quality work that should be put into it so that we can have productive kind of oversight. And if you fail to conduct oversight, because that is what we are elected for as politicians, then there will be no delivery in that part of municipality or in the area of jurisdiction that you are being oversighting.
Right. Mayor, I want to come to you now. The Auditor General came up with a report that detailed exactly how municipalities were handling their funds. Most municipalities were found to be mismanaging their funds, irregular expenditure, wasteful expenditure. O.R Tambo District Municipality, I'm sure, fell under that as well. What happens in terms of holding councillors accountable when they do something wrong?
In fact, Audrey, let me first correct that statement. to say O.R Tambo has improved. I agree it has been in a situation that it was getting disclaimers for more than 4 years. But in 2014-15, it has since got qualified, which shows improvement. But I must first put in simple terms the meaning and the interpretation that were also given by the Auditor General himself of these negative audit opinions. Your wasteful, irregular, and fruitless expenditure does not translate to say you've eaten the money. It talks about a simple thing that we need to do if our administration is up to standard, of accounting, having receipts of the work that has been done. Because in most cases you find that the work has been done, but our administration is not at a level where we can be able to account for each and every cent that we've spent. And that, most of the times, is not the councillors, because it is the administration that does the actual execution of the programs and projects of government. But I agree, councillors are charged with the responsibility to oversight. But I think it is not correct to say there is no legislation, because this government of the ANC has national legislations, has provincial legislations and policies that talk to the roles and responsibilities of councillors and administration. Hence, the Municipal Finance Management Act of 2003 took out councillors from tenders to leave the officials, but the role of the councillors is to come up with a supply chain management policy that will make sure that there is a watchdog to see that the officials, when they do their work, they do it accordingly. Any councillor who is found to be on the other side of the law gets dealt with. We've got more than 200 cases that were reported nationally of officials in particular who are found to be corrupt, and people were in that process convicted. So I want to say there is a clear program. Our own province of the Eastern Cape took a decision in cabinet to say no official must do business with government, going an extra mile to say beyond just disclosing. If you want to be in business, go to business. If you want to be a people's servant in the administration, you cannot have conflicting interests and come here and be a referee and a player. We are doing that. Our municipality, O.R Tambo, we have caught many people that are doing corruption.
On many platforms you find reports that are done dilly-dally because they believe that the councillors will not be able to pick such things up. But unfortunately, along the way, many of us are learned and we do understand, and you find then that there is a lot of corruption going on. It is there, and the officials do it because they think that the councillors cannot pick it up. But the corruption is there. We do pick it up, but I want to tell you, nothing happens. We've got a case of a few years ago when our leader, our ex-president, Nelson Mandela, passed on, that we were told by our council, by our executive mayor, that no expenditure would come out of our municipality. And be that it may, a few months later, 21 million was paid. And to date, nobody has been arrested. Nothing has happened. It has been to the public protector. We are still waiting for that report to come back. So it tells you that, yes, there is a lot of going on, and it's not that the officials are not competent. Yes, they are. So competent they are that they can take the gaps and actually do the corruption easier.
It is not true that councillors are not competent. In fact, O.R Tambo is the only district municipality in the country, but I can be sure about Eastern Cape. I think there is one in Gauteng. It's the second district municipality that has separation of powers. Firstly, our municipal public accounts is chaired by the member of the UDM to show that we've got nothing to hide. And we've got separation of powers where the non-executive councillors are chairing the portfolio committees so that the mayoral committee members are held to account to the legislature. And we go directly to the projects where the executive and administration report that these projects were implemented. So there is competence in O.R Tambo.
The fact that some leaders from the opposition chair SCOPA in Parliament and MPEC in the case of a municipality is because it's a principle. It's not law. The ANC can chair SCOPA if it wants in parliament. The ANC can chair MPEC if it wants to in municipal. But the principle is that you cannot be a player and a referee at the same time. You spend funds, again you come back and say you account for these funds. It can't be correct. Morally, it doesn't sound. It is on that basis, therefore, that opposition parties are given. That is why the ANC can chase away a member of the opposition if they feel that he is touching on their nerves when he's chairing SCOPA. So I don't think that is because they are actually being on the ANC sympathies when they chair these committees. No, it's not true. And secondly, the basic and fundamental problem here is when procedures are being flouted. Just on the issue of the 21 million that was spent by KSD towards the funeral of former President Mandela, in terms of the MFMA, when monies are going to be spent, particularly millions of rands, there must be a council approval. It means the whole council, not ANC in Lutuli House or ANC in Alexander Street. No, the council, people who are in charge of the funds of a municipality, there must be a council resolution to say, we are going to contribute this amount of money. There was not even a council approval. That is why, for information, this municipality is now being investigated. Perhaps you did not know that Public Protector is conducting an investigation as to what happened with the 21 million that was spent unlawfully by the KSD towards the burial of former President Mandela. Right. The question is, how confident are we? Are very confident. The ANC has messed up. Roads that were tarred in the past. If you knew this town before, Mthatha, when it was in its former glory, this road town was tarred. There were no potholes. Buildings were maintained. But today, it's like we are traveling in Afghanistan after a war. Everything is halipalu. There is nothing that is happening. And that is why we say, take the power from the ANC. They have failed. We don't need any other dongas in Mthatha. We need tight roads.
Right. I understand the mayor of King Sabata Dalindyebo has been given a microphone, and perhaps you'd like to answer the 21 million rand question that has been heating up on stage. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us.
I would like to say, indeed, there is an investigation that is under place, and I would plead that let us allow the processes that are taking place to conclude, such that we don't interfere with the investigations that are being conducted on the matter of the 21 million. Because as already stated, the matter is under investigation, and at the moment, if we try to elaborate more, maybe we will be interfering with the process which is under the state security agencies. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that response, Executive Mayor. I think what's important here is the issue has been raised to the surface, and I'm sure it will be investigated, and we will get answers with regards to that. Well, it's time for SA Decides to take a very short break. Do stay with us.